Hello, everyone. Welcome to our today Bookwits demo, and thank you for taking the time to attend our today meeting despite being in the middle of the busiest time of the year. My name is Anastasia. I am a part of the development team behind Bookwits. I am also a CPB and a small bookkeeping practice owner. To share a bit of a story behind Bookwits before we start, the idea of creating a platform like this came to our team the moment when some of us started to take on our own clients and started to open our own practices. We've been looking for a tool that could fit all of the needs that we need to cover for our practice in one place, but we just couldn't find the right fit. And some of the tools that we were looking into were way too expensive, some of the tools were way too complicated, or some tools just didn't match the workflows that we have here in Canada. So at this point, as a team, we decided to create our own tool, something better, something simple, practical, and made for bookkeepers like us. And today I'm very excited to share what we created with you. So in this demo, I will be walking you through all of the features that we have on our platform. This will be a very detailed demo of everything that we have, and we will also have a dedicated Q&A session after our walkthrough is completed. And with this, let's start with our first feature that we have on our platform, which is the clients management feature. So on Bookwits, first of all, there are multiple ways of how you can navigate your client base. So first of all, you will see we have all your clients in different lists. The first list that you also always see on the platform is the all clients list. So in this one here, you will see a pretty simple table where you can easily navigate the names of all of your clients. And if you do bookkeeping or corporate tax services for their businesses, you will also see the business names beneath their names. You can also check what team members have access to this client and what manager has been assigned for this particular client. And you can also check the contact details right here. The next table, and probably one of the most useful on the platform, will be the companies table. So because we're built in Canada, you will notice that we have a lot of Canadian tax terminology already built inside Bookwits. So for example, in this table here, we can find information on the businesses, such as their corporate year-end details. We can check their HST or BST filing details. We can see if we need to prepare any T-slips for this client, or if they have standby charge or WCB details, and many more other details, which you can also customize. Sometimes what might happen with this table, it can get way too wide with all the details that you will be adding to the platform. So if you go under settings, it can help you to hide some of the columns that you don't need, or on the other hand, you can add more columns to the table if some information is missing. We also have a feature which allows you to create custom fields, and I'm going to show you how to create those custom fields a bit later today as well. What this table also allows to do is, for cases when we're trying to search for a client, but we don't remember the name of the company or the name of a client, like for example, if you received a call from someone, but you don't have this contact number in your list, you can simply start entering the phone number and it will give you a list of the clients that match this phone number, for example. Or you can start entering their business number and it will also immediately pull up the clients that match the specific business number. So the other table that we also have on the platform is the personal taxes table, which is relevant for practices that do personal taxes for their clients as well. So in this table here, you can kind of at a glance see and understand what clients you are working with on their tax returns and for which years. And if we go back to our all clients list, so let's imagine that I'm just starting to use the platform and I already have my client list saved somewhere on my computer and I want to do the import of the clients to Bookwits. To do this under all clients, I would simply click on Actions. We select the Import Clients from CSV option. From this point on, you can either download a template, which will be a simple table where you can simply fill out the fields and then do the import, or I can even download an example if I want to make sure that the way the information should be presented in the table so the platform will understand and read it in the end. So for example, if I already have my client list, let's try to do the import together. So I would select the file that I want to import. I would click on next. At this point, I can map the fields. So if some information is not matching, I can easily update it right here. If everything looks fine, then I would simply click on next. This is another point where I can double check if all of the information has been imported correctly. And you can easily update it right here if it's needed as well. Then I click on import, and my clients will immediately be reflected in my table under all clients and the companies as well. So for the next step, let's also have a look at what the client's profile looks like. So the moment you import a client or you add a new client manually, you're basically creating their client card. In the client card, first of all, you will see the general information about the client that you're working with, such as their contact details, their address. You can add a manager right here or share access with your team members. You can also add their contact list, and you can also add software credentials if it's needed, which is very useful for cases when, for example, your clients are using some third-party apps like PayPal, Stripe, or Shopify, and you need to store those credentials somewhere in order to complete their bookkeeping. The next thing that you can check under each client's profile is what companies this client has. So if they have more than one company, they will be all reflected in this field right here. I can easily switch between the companies, and this is also a place where I can check and update the details about each business. To edit the details, I would simply click on Edit Company. Maybe their HST filing frequency has changed, or maybe they now need to file a new T-slip this year. I can add all of this information right here. What this also allows me to do, this is a place where I can create those custom fields. So for example, I want to add a custom field so I can add web access codes for some of my clients. I would select the field type. For us, it's going to be text. Then I would select the custom field name. For us, it will be web access code. I can apply it to all clients or only apply it to this particular company. So let's apply it to all clients for now. We click on create, and this field will be, it will appear under all of your companies, first of all, and second of all, it can now be reflected in the companies table that we have seen before. Then we click on Save Company, and all of our changes will be updated. The next thing that we can check for each company separately is the tasks that we have assigned for this particular company. We can also check what documents the client shared for this company. And we also have a place where we can create and send onboarding checklists. So for example, if we imagine that Bon Marsh is our new client, and we know that we will be working with one of his companies, which is O'Connor Enterprises, I can simply click on Send Checklist. I would enter my client's email. Then I would select the template. So when you just start to use the platform, an onboarding checklist template will already be created and stored on Bookwits. You can make sure that all of the details reflected before you send the checklist. And at this point, you can also modify this checklist if it's needed. So if everything is fine, I simply select the onboarding checklist, click on send, and your client will receive an email. At this point, they don't need to register for the platform. They will simply fill out the checklist just once. And as soon as it is completed, you will receive a notification that the checklist is already done by this client. The last thing that you can check under each company is the notes and guidelines. So in this section here, you can create step-by-step tutorials for yourself or for your team members on how to work with a particular company. You can create multiple different categories, like a category for bookkeeping, inventory, payroll, and you can create multiple detailed steps inside as well. The next thing that we can check under each client's profile is if we are also doing personal taxes for them. The information here will be separated by the tax years. So for example, right here, we can see that we've been doing taxes for 1 March from 2022 and up till 2024. Right now is the time to start doing the 2025 personal tax returns. So as soon as I import my clients to the platform, I would need to open a new tax cycle for them. So I simply click on add a new tax year. The tax year would be 2025. And at this point, I can either apply it to 1 March only, or I can start applying it to multiple clients. For example, I will select all clients option, click on search clients. And at this point, I can also make sure that all of the clients have been captured, and I can unselect the clients that I don't want to open the tax cycle for. What this feature also allows you to do, you can immediately create tasks for this particular tax year for all of the clients that you have selected. So let's just select the clients that we want to open the tax cycle for, click on save, and our tax year 2025 will now be open for the clients that we selected. After the moment that we opened the new tax year, it's time to start sending those checklists to our client. I would click on send checklist, enter your client's email, and then so select the template that you would need to select to this client. So you have an option to create your own templates or modify the templates that you already have. Let's have a look at our basic checklist, for example. So I can also enter a message that my client will be receiving the moment that they will receive the checklist. And let's just double check the fields. So a lot of the fields that you see in the checklist will already be automatically available on Bookwits. These sections will still allow you to add some custom fields if some of the questions are missing. The information that will be automatically populated on Bookwits will be your general information questions, marital status questions, dependents, document section as well. And this is where you can create even more questions for your clients. So we click on save. I click on send checklist. Let's enter the emails. We can also have a look at what the checklist looks on the client side. So I select the checklist, click on send, and let's have a look at what it will look like on the client side. So as soon as your client receives the email, this is what the email will look like. So it will be showing who sent this checklist. And if you created a message beforehand, there will also be a message reflected right here. Then your client would need to click on view checklist, and they will be prompted to a form that they need to fill out. So they simply follow all of the steps that you have created for your clients. And as soon as they fill out the checklist, you will also receive a notification that the checklist has been completed. On the document section, there will be folders. So the moment when your client is filling out the checklist, they will have an option to immediately upload all of the documents as well. At this point, your client doesn't need to register for the platform, so they just simply fill out the checklist, and then the checklist will be stored on your site under your profile. So same way as with the companies, we can also check the tasks that have been assigned for this particular tax year. We can check the documents that the client shared for this tax year, and we can also post notes and guidelines. The last thing that we can check under each client's profile is the mailbox. So mailbox under the client's profile specifically is a place where your emails will be sorted by the client's email, meaning that you will not see any emails from any other clients. It will be just a place of your back and forth correspondence with this person or the people from their contact list. And if we go back to our client section, another feature that we have under the client's management is what we called client lists. So client lists is not the same as your tasks. Client lists is a place which you can use for your own reassurance to keep track of all of the files that you have and to make sure that none of the files are missed by the end of the deadline. So, for example, right now it's very relevant that we need to see a list of all of the clients that we need to prepare personal tax returns for. So I would first enter the name T1 2025. I would then select the criteria, which is going to be personal tax year 2025. We click on create, and the platform will immediately pull up a list of all of the clients that we have just opened the 2025 tax cycle for. In this list here, what I can do is I can update the status of each file, so I can easily at a glance see how many files have already been filed, how many files are still in progress or outstanding. I can also post a note if it's needed. So, for example, if this client is in progress, I can post a note explaining why the client is still not completed. And this also allows me to create a task directly from here. So, for example, for Benjamin Clark here, if I want to assign it to a particular team member, I can click on create a task. The name and client will already be created. I just need to add an assignee and set the due date for them. We click on create, and this task will later be posted in our tasks section. So besides the personal tax client lists, we can also create lists of our company year-end clients. For example, a list of all of our December year-end clients or July year-end clients. We can see a list of all our sole proprietorships. We can create T-slips lists. For example, a list of all the T4s that we need to prepare. Lists of all of our HST clients monthly, quarterly, or annually. PST clients, WSAB, employer health tax clients, and payroll remittance clients as well. And this will bring us to our next section, which is the tasks and workflow management feature. So first of all, you can see your tasks in form of a list, in form of a board, or a calendar. Second, we can group our tasks by different criteria. For example, right now they're grouped by status, like to do, in progress, in review. I can group them by assignee if I want to check the workload of my team members. Or I can group them by due date if I want to see what tasks are already outstanding, what's going to be due today or in the next few days, weeks, or months. Besides that, I can also filter my tasks. So if I only want to see tasks related to a particular client or tasks assigned to a particular person, I can easily filter them right here. Let's also look at what the task looks like. So when you create a task, first of all, you would need to enter the name, then you would need to select a client which the task is related to. So it can be a person, a company, a personal tax year, or a blank space for some general admin tasks. Then I can also update the status of the task, and I can create my own statuses. I can add an assignee or multiple assignees. I can also set the due date. And under this calendar here, I can also create recurring tasks. So if I click on set recurring, there are two different types of recurring tasks that we can create. The first one, repeat same tasks, means that you create just one task, for example, monthly bookkeeping for one of your clients. It will be only one task will be reflected in your workflow. As soon as you complete this task, a new task will reopen. As soon as you close the second task, the third task will be reopened. Create future tasks feature allows you to create tasks so you can see them a few weeks or months ahead. For example, maybe I want to create a monthly bookkeeping task and I want to see it 6 months ahead. I would select the frequency as monthly. I would like to see 6 tasks ahead, and our interval would be 1 month. Our next occurrence, I want to be on May 1st. Then I click on Save, Confirm, and the 6 tasks will immediately be populated in our workflow. So inside the task, what I can also do is I can add a priority, I can add description and attachments, and I can also create subtasks. So your subtasks can also have subtasks inside them, so that your subtasks can basically be treated as their own tasks, meaning that they can have their own status, their own assignee, due date, description, and other details. What we also have is we have task templates. So when you start to create a new task, you can simply click on the 3 dots in the top right corner, click on Create from Template. When you just start to use the platform, a lot of the templates will already be pre-created. So what we advise you to do is open any of the templates that we already have, simply modify it so it matches your workflow, and then simply click on Save Current as Templates, so the modified version will be saved in your list of the templates. This will probably be everything about the task section, so let's go to our next feature, which is the document sharing feature. So documents feature basically allows you to share folders with your clients. To share a folder with your client, simply go inside the folder, click on Manage Access. You can start entering your client's email, and you can also enter a few emails in one time, so that different people can receive the invite at the same time. You can add them as viewers or editors. Enter the message, click on Send, and your client will receive an email invite, after which they will be prompted to Bookwits page. At this point, they would be required to register for the platform as a client, because this way they will have access to their client portal anytime during the year. Plus, they can set up two-factor authentication for additional security. Our folders are separated by folders for companies and folders for personal tax clients. The moment that you add a new company to the platform, or the moment that you open a new tax cycle for your client, a folder with the same name will be automatically created on the platform. So you don't need to do it manually. On your client side, what your client will basically see is the same screen that you see right here. So they will only have access to the folder that they have the access to. It's going to be very simple, straightforward for them. So you don't need to worry about teaching them how to use the platform. It's going to be very, very simple on their side as well. And this will bring us to our next section, which is the emails integration section. So if you're using Gmail or Outlook, for example, you can connect them to Bookwits, so it will be synced, and whatever you do on your Gmail, for example, will be reflected on Bookwits. Whatever you do on Bookwits will be reflected on your main Gmail account. On top of that, we also have email templates, which you can use in order to eliminate writing the same emails from scratch every single time. And we also have automatic email reminders, which you can set up for multiple different purposes. For example, let's try to create a repeating reminder for our annual bookkeeping clients. So I would enter the name of the reminder, I would enter the email subject, then the message, we click on Next, and at this point we have a few reminder types already pre-set up by Bookwits. So for us, it's going to be year-end type of reminder, and I want it to be recurring. I want the frequency to be annual. Say I want to send it to all of my December year-end clients, and maybe I want to send it on Friday, April the 3rd. Then I click on Next, and platform will immediately pull up only the clients with December year-end. So this way you don't need to browse through your whole client base. At this point, I can simply select all of my clients or unselect some of them. We click on Save, and our reminder will appear in the list of our reminders. So you can set up, same way you can set up reminders for your monthly bookkeeping clients, bi-weekly payroll clients, even your marketing emails. So it's a very customizable tool for multiple different things. The next feature that we'll be talking about today is the timesheets feature. So on our platform, we also have a feature to track time spent on particular tasks or clients. One of the ways how you can start tracking time is if you go to the tasks section. Say I'm currently working on bookkeeping for December year end. Inside the task, I can click on track time, start timer, and the platform will start calculating the time spent on this particular task. As soon as I'm done, and simply go back to track time, click on stop timer, and this time entry will appear in our timesheets. What the timesheets feature also allows us to do, we can start tracking time inside it. The additional step would be selecting the client that you're working on. And for cases when you forgot to do the punch in and punch out, you can simply click on add time, select the date when you worked, add the time in and time out, select the client, post a note, and it will also be reflected in your time entries. What this feature also allows you to do is you can export your timesheets, and we also have filters, which is useful for cases when you need to calculate time spent on a particular client or how much time a particular employee has been working in February, for example. So I can simply select my employee. I would select, for example, I want to see the time she worked in February. I click on the dates, and our timesheets will be filtered by this criteria. From this point here, I can also update the status of each time entry, so we can make sure that the entries have been approved or what entries are still new. And we can also mark them as invoiced. So for cases when we want to bill a client for the time spent, I can simply click on invoice. This will allow you to export the time, and the status will immediately be changed to invoice, meaning that you have already billed the client for this time so that you don't forget in future. The next section that we will talk about today will be the templates feature. So templates under the menu is just a summary of all of the templates that we have covered before. We have our task templates, we have our email templates, personal and corporation checklists, and we also have documents templates. Document templates means that we can create folder structure for our client folders. For example, so this basically helps you to not create the folder structure every time you add a new client, a new company to the platform. So in the folder structure, I will simply start entering the names of the folders, for example, corporate folder, and I can add a subfolder if it's needed. Then I can create another folder, which will be payroll, for example. We click on save, and the next time you bring a new company to the platform, this folder structure will be applied to the new client as well. It will immediately be applied to all of your existing clients. Same with the personal tax folders. You can start creating the folder structure and it will immediately be applied to all of your current clients as well as your new clients. With this, we will also talk about our last feature, which is the team management feature. So this feature here allows you to add your team members. To add a new team member, simply click on the button right here, enter your team member's email, and they can be added as admin user or member user. Your admin user can have access to the whole workspace, while your member can have a limited access. For example, for Andrew here, I can either share all of my clients or I can only share the clients that I want him to work with. And our pricing is not per user. It's a flat monthly fee of $49.99 plus tax per month. We are also not charging you by clients, so you can have a limited number of clients and a limited number of team members. We also have a 20% discount for annual subscriptions, and right now until the end of July, I will post a promo code into our chat. If you use the promo code tax2026, it will give you a 50% discount until the end of July for your monthly subscription. So besides that, when you start to just use the platform, you have an option to, under settings, you can customize your profile. So you can select what type of notifications you would like to receive from the platform. And you can also customize the field configuration. So for example, if here in Ontario, we don't have the employer health tax, I can simply hide this field and it will never be reflected automatically on Bookwits for my workspace. What we also have is we have a getting started checklist. So when you just start to use the platform, you can use this checklist for yourself because it can help you to navigate you on how to start with the platform, what should be the next step, and how to set up your whole workspace. Besides that, we also have resources, which is very detailed guidelines on all of the modules we have. We have the YouTube videos for some of them, and we also have very, very detailed steps with features. So sometimes if you have an issue with some particular module, this might be a really good place to check because it might have an answer for you. Besides that, you can also book another demo with us. So we can do another walkthrough through the platform, or we can answer any of your questions. And we also have a contact us form, which allows you to send us a message and someone from our team will be replying to you within just a few minutes. So we always like to close our demo by saying that Bookwits is a relatively new platform if you compare us to some similar platforms. But because we're new, we're actively growing and we're listening to our customers. So whenever you have a negative or positive feedback, it will be more than appreciated since it helps us to make our platform even better.